It's not only the president. We've heard also supporting calls from senators and congressmen and other of the American strata of politics supporting this call. So that is the unfortunate position of a whole structure that has been built in the past years in support of Israel.
As you know, and as we've said, normalization is a big strategy, a big goal of the United States, of Israel, etc. Certain Arab countries have always done that, but the crown jewel is your country, Saudi Arabia. Do you see any way, I know you're not in government, but your king and others have said in the past that there will be no normalization without a pledge for a Palestinian state, and in fact for Israel to get out of Gaza. Do you think that still holds? Can you see normalization happening?
Indeed, and not at all. This morning, our foreign ministry issued a statement rejecting what came out of Washington in the last days. And this has been the position of Saudi Arabia from the beginning. And even before October 7th, if you recall, when Prince Mohammed spoke with one of your opposition television channels in America, he made clear then that the path to a clear Palestinian state is what we want to see as a result of any talks that we have with the Americans. And we don't talk to the Israelis, we talk to the Americans. And this has been the position that has been maintained forcefully and in various arenas, whether it is the Islamic Summit in Riyadh, the Arab Summit, the Gulf State Summit, all of the international arenas that were held and conferences in Riyadh have stressed the fact that there must be a Palestinian state with its capital in East Jerusalem.
Prince Reggie, there seems to be a lot of, both in the United States and actually around the world, whether they're leaders, elected officials or not, or whoever, people are being quite scared about these first 2 weeks of Trump, and even before. There was a lot of what people called anticipatory obedience, fear that he will use the might of a superpower to punish anyone, allies, adversaries, or whatever. Does Saudi Arabia fear a backlash if you know, from the White House, if you don't accept this plan or your role in this plan?
We'll have to wait and see. And one of his first statements, if you remember, he mentioned that he was willing to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia were willing to invest something like $500 billion in the United States. And he recalled that the first country he visited in his first term was in Saudi Arabia. So if he does come here, I'm sure he will get an earful from the leadership here about the not just the unwisdom of what he is proposing, but the downright unfairness and injustice that is really signified and totally placed in this proposal of ethnic cleansing from not only Gaza, but what is happening in the West Bank, as Mr. Barouti has said.
And finally, put on your hat as former spy chief. I heard from the U.S. former Secretary of State on his way out, I interviewed him, and he said the Americans assess that